Who are you? No, really, who are you? It can be one of life's most challenging questions to answer. Figuring out your own identity is a lifelong pursuit, but today in this video I'm going to be teaching you some tips and tricks to get you started on your path to self-discovery. Licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm here to help you learn how to improve your mental, emotional, and relational health with therapy tips and techniques straight from my therapy couch to your couch at home. That way you can start living a life that's more joyful and authentic today. Figuring out who you are really starts pretty early in childhood when you figure out that you are a separate individual from your caretakers, for your mom or your dad or whoever it is that's raising you. Figuring out that you get to have your own thoughts and feelings and opinions that are different from theirs. But there are a lot of pressures for you to be a certain way, or to think a certain way, or to act a certain way. And those pressures come from your family, from your environment, from your culture, from the media, from your gender, from so many different aspects of who you are and the things in your environment that you come in contact with. It can be difficult to separate who everybody else wants you to be, or who you think everyone else wants you to be, from who you actually are. It overcomplicates an already really complicated self-discovery process. So how do you know who you really are? What is your identity? If you haven't started figuring out, or you feel a little bit stuck along the way, or you think maybe you've already got it figured out already, I've got a couple of tips for you to help you along your journey. First, identify your own internal voice. No, not the guilt-ridden one that you inherited from your mom. Not the not good enough one that you picked up from your culture. And no, not the be just like one of us voice that you picked up from your friends. Find your own voice. The one that feels like you, the one that when you close your eyes and you hear in your head, fits. This might be a hard process. You might have a lot of different voices vying for attention in your head, so it might take you a couple of tries to find it. But go ahead, close your eyes, really focus in, listen to the voices there, and figure out which one actually belongs to you. You'll know it when you hear it. It might be meek, or sarcastic, or funny, or soft, or gentle, or sincere. But when you hear it, grab onto it. The second tip is to write a list of things that you value. And along with that list of values, write all of the things that you believe in. Go ahead, grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, or write it down in a memo on your phone. List everything that you can think of that you value and believe in. Don't edit anything out at this stage, just write it down. Once you have your list completed, go ahead and go through your list and cross out anything that you value or believe in just because you're told to, whether by your family or your friends, your religion, your culture, any of those things that you believe in just because somebody else says to, but that don't really resonate for you. That doesn't mean that you have to eliminate those things from your values or your belief system. For right now, we're just setting those things aside if they don't 100% resonate with what you believe in, with what that voice that really is you says is true. You can go back and re-examine those things later, but for right now, we're only looking at the things that are 100% you. The third step is to now write a list of all of the things that you can think of that you love. It can be places that you visited, people that are in your life, hobbies or new skills that you've acquired. It can be anything. Just write it down. If it's something that you love and it pops into your head, add it to the list. Make sure during this process you're not getting hung up on things that you just don't have time for or that you haven't done in years. If you love it or you've loved it once, please write it down. Your fourth step in this process is to write a list of all the characteristics that you possess, both the good ones and the bad ones. You are a complex, multi-layered human being. It's okay to have both good and bad, and to admit that you have those things inside yourself. Truly embracing who you are means recognizing both the good and the bad, both the light and the dark that exists inside you. This might be one of the hardest steps that I've asked you to do today, especially if you struggle with low self-esteem. But do your best. It's enough. Step number 5 is to make a list. I know, another list. Make a list of things that you want for your future. It can be places that you want to travel or things that you want to accomplish. It can be family relationships that you want to develop, or new relationships or friendships that you want to create. It can be career choices or family choices that you want to make along the way. If it's something that you want for your future, put it down. On this list, you can also add characteristics or values that you don't already have, but that you want to develop sometime along the way. If you want to be more patient, go ahead and add it to the list. Okay, now that you've made a ton of lists, stop for just a second and really look at what you've created. Reread those lists and let that inner voice that you've identified let you know if anything on those lists feels off. Is there something there that isn't quite yours? Or is there something there that used to be yours and just isn't anymore? If it is, go ahead and cross it off for now. Again, you don't have to abandon it, but we want to set it aside and re-examine it later and only look at the things that right now are yours. Now, during this process, make sure you're listening to your voice, not any of the discouraging or disparaging voices that might live in your head too. The ones that tell you, that'll never happen, or you can't do that, or that's not really who you are. Don't let those voices get in the way of this process. Now I'm going to ask you to write one more list, but this is a really important one, so don't skip it. I want you to write a list of anything in your life that's holding you back from being who you really are. Is there an organization that you belong to, or a physical or mental disability that's getting in your way? Is it your beliefs in your own capabilities and limitations? Is it a person that you associate with? Is it one of those voices in your head that just tells you that you can't? Any of the things that you feel like are standing in your way, add those to this final list. This final list is going to help you chart your path to how you can become more like that congruent person that you want to be, so that you can be real and authentic and start embracing who you really are. Overcoming the things that are in our way is a huge part of the journey to becoming who you are. I'm so excited to hear what you've come up with during this exercise. Please go ahead and comment in the comment section below. I would love to see things that you've discovered about yourself that are surprising to you, or things that you thought you'd lost about yourself that have been there all along, just like those ruby red slippers. Maybe you've been you all along and you just haven't been looking hard enough. Or maybe there are people or things or beliefs that are getting in your way from really embracing who you are. Please share it with us. We'd love to hear about it. As for me, one of the things that I discovered about myself when I was going through this exercise is that I absolutely love to write. And one of the things that I love to write is fiction. So one thing that I discovered for myself is in the future, I really want to publish a fiction novel. And I know that it's something that I want because the real voice that belongs to me tells me that I want it, even though there's some discouraging and crappy voices inside my head telling me that it's impossible, or that I don't have the talent for it, or who do I think I am. As always, if you find yourself really struggling with this process, or something is getting in your way of being functional and being able to go about your daily life in this process, please seek out a licensed and well-trained professional in your area to help you walk this process. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw in this video, please give it that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be one of the first to know when I upload new content with mental, emotional, and relational health tips and techniques to improve your life so that you can start living more joyfully and more authentically. Until then, here's all of the best of luck from my therapy couch to